Hey, I'm back with another video. It's me. It's 9:55 a.m. It is September 30th. And so I got up a little early this morning and I kind of pedaled around the house and then I kind of went back and started reading a book. So I just been kind of keeping myself busy. So I decided to come back on this channel really quick and make a video. I noticed that I had a few subscribers, more subscribers after I had made an announcement that I wouldn't be making any more videos on this channel. But I just figured I would kind of give people a little bit of an update, and I don't know if I'm going to keep this channel up, meaning making any more videos for this channel, but, I just kind of wanted to summarize some things that may have created some loose ends, so I'm here to wrap them up. Right now, I had made a statement that I had disconnected from the people that I used to know, which was a very, very big decision. Um, it was an unworkable situation, and it wasn't even something that was consensual. It wasn't consensual on my part. So what I'm referring to this group that I used to refer to as the collective. The collective is a group of loosely affiliated people, of ex-employers, so-called friends, and wicked family members. So, generally when people are, I know that there's usually, they have networks, and this network was one that kind of trapped me, and it was a very distorted type entrapment. Like, it was where they were forcing me into these so-called romantic relationships, and or with people that I used to know, like my son's father and my ex-husband. And I gotten to the point where, it just got disgusting to me. Like, it was just really emotionally disturbing for me to have to deal with these people that I look at as wicked. And there's no way in the world that somebody can convince me that they're not. So there's a lot of rumors still floating around, I'm sure. I know that the girl that I used to work with, her name was Selena Bruce. I believe her name is Selena Graham now. I don't know. But anyway, there's some sort of like rumors sorting around that I was in a competition with her. Now, this competition was completely one-sided because I know that she had not moved in, but I think she had a relationship with my ex-husband while I was still living with him in my house. And so, and then there was a lot of, betrayal, employment manipulation. Even after I legally divorced this person, and I think that there's rumors floating around about me wanting my ex-husband back, which to me is absolutely absurd. I had mentioned before that I had saw some online tarot readings. Now, like I said, I've never been like into, tarot readings, like group tarot readings or whatever. I remember, back in the 90s, getting a few tarot decks, and I think somebody gifted me a tarot deck. I'm not what you call like really proficient with tarot, but I do. This particular video caught my eye, which made me like look at other ones, and it sounded like they were describing my situation. And my situation really isn't that uncommon. There's a lot of people who deal with ex-husbands, ex-spouses, or whatever. Especially a lot of men in law enforcement, they want to punish their ex-wives or whatever, so they want to manipulate their employment. So this is a very common thing. So, whatever. I would never want to be with someone like that. There's many reasons why I am not interested in my ex-husband, okay? People think that, and this is, an error on their part, but see, people think that if you are a minority, that you're going to want a white man, no matter what he does. And a lot of times people project their personal feelings or personal views onto people. Like, if I was a minority, I would marry a white man. I would pursue a white man. But people want relationships for different reasons, And I would never marry somebody for clout or to raise my social status. From the very beginning, when I first moved here, I always felt like I was going to have to trek it alone. And I always personally believe that people should trek it alone. What I mean by that is, like, let's just say, for example, I was married to a man who had money. I would still want to work and take care of myself, because what would happen? I remember my mom, I felt like my mom and dad were kind of stuck. You know what I mean? Like my dad, personally, I think he stayed in the relationship with my mom because she had no way of taking care of herself. And I looked at that and I thought, my goodness, that's not how people should be. Now, some people, they're in relationships and they have children, so they feel like they have to keep that relationship together. And that's, they have to do that in certain situations because they have children together or whatever. I am not in any way obligated to be with someone like that, and I have no desire to, and I'm not even remotely interested in my ex-husband. And I know people find that hard to believe, but I don't. I'm completely repulsed and repelled by him. So if this was some sort of a competition, I think that she basically won in that sense, where she feels as though she wants, I'm referring to the girl that I used to work with, if she wants to have him, go ahead, have at it. I have not made any attempts to reconnect with this person. I have not ever made any sort of, I never like contested or tried to stop these people from being in a relationship. Once I got my divorce, which is something that I was desperate to do, in 2018, I was grateful. So it kind of shocked me that this person, my ex-husband, was still kind of hanging around. And even shocked me even more that this particular girl, Selena Bruce, would try to get involved in my employment. Does it make sense for a wife, right, to help the ex-wife of that husband? No, it doesn't. There may have been some rumors that we were in a love triangle. There was no such thing. I was never involved with my ex-husband during that time. I've never tried to intervene in the relationship. I never did anything. So that should be clearing that up. As far as my son's father is concerned, I am not into the Jehovah's Witness thing. I don't even believe that he personally is into the Jehovah's Witness thing. He never behaved like a Jehovah's Witness. So I am not interested in either one of those men. And, especially since everything, people, I question the morals of people, and I question that whether they have any sort of standards or any sort of self-respect. Like, if somebody would instinctively think that somebody would want to go back to what I look at as garbage, something is wrong with them. Now, I understand that people get in tight spots, but the tight spots that I'm in, like, for example, right now I'm not working, right? The tight spot that I'm in is not created by me. It was something that they did they did that. They created this issue. I never asked anyone to help me with my employment. I never asked anybody to get me a job. I never asked anyone for anything. And, the reason why I never ask people for things is because they always expect something in return. So they want to do something for you and expect something in return. That's not how my life works. And that's not how things should work, So no, I have no interest in that. And I think some women they're very a lot of maybe, I'm not saying all, but maybe some African American women or other women of color would be drawn to dating men, white men, for social prestige and whatnot. I've never sought that. Now, I will go back and use this as an example. Like, my ex-husband was like a screen printer, which is a very, what do they call it, menial type job in the grand scheme of things. And I never questioned it. I never put him down for it or whatever. But when I married this particular person, I married this person as a screen printer, knowing that, his chances for advancement were pretty nil. So if I was going to look for a white man, I would have looked for a white man with some money, if that was it. You know what I mean? So no, it was not about that. I never married Joel for those reasons. So, and I don't care if he does have money or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't, some people allow themselves to be abused, and I wouldn't do that. And I wouldn't, I have always been a very independent person for my own protection, and I think that makes sense. Now, that's not for everybody, but I knew from the very get-go that all I had in this world was myself, and as a matter of fact, when I was married to my ex-husband, since I was the one who had the bigger income, I always figured that I would be pretty much the breadwinner. I never complained about that, at that time. So this goes to show that, I never felt as though I wanted to rely on anybody. I never expected anyone to take care of me. And as a matter of fact, I don't want anyone to take care of me because I don't have any support system to where I could, lean on people for help. Like if I was to get married and somebody was to abuse me, I would have nowhere to go. You see what I'm saying? So it's important for me to stand on my own, and I knew this from the very beginning. You know, um, it's a little bit, it's arrogant. I was actually going to call this like the arrogance of white men. And no, I don't hate white men, but I don't, as an adult, I don't want romantic dealings with white men. And and I think my reasons make a lot of sense. When I was younger, I thought that the world was I looked at it from the eyes of like TV shows and stuff like that. I understood that there was racism and stuff like that, but I didn't think that it was this bad. And I don't think that I'm not bashing interracial relationships. It's just that I don't feel as though they work, and I don't think that it's for my best interest to involve myself in them. That's not to say, yeah, of course, people will say, well, white men are blah 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 blah. Yeah, I will say, there's some good-looking white men. Okay, like I remember growing up thinking that David Bowie was good-looking. I remember thinking that who else did I think was good-looking? There was a lot of there's a lot of nice-looking white men. Okay, don't get me wrong. I mean, that has nothing to do with it. You can think that someone's nice-looking, but it doesn't go any further than that. I have a very good head on my shoulders, and I make good decisions. And even though that people might think that I don't, or they might underestimate me, or they try to project things on me, that's unfortunate. But when you look at it in terms of your survival and what is going to protect you, and you make better decisions. You could get yourself into a lot of trouble just thinking that someone's handsome and you marry that person, but they could literally abuse you. You know what I mean? So no, I don't. And I think a lot of people, they want to put you in a situation where they want to put pressure on you to get married and find someone. Number one, that was the last thing on my mind. When I left my ex-husband, my main thing was I need stability. I need a job. I need to work. I need to take care of myself. And that was the only thing I thought about. And whereas other people were thinking, well, why? I mean, God, some people, the way that they think, they think that that I would be interested in someone like that. No, I'm not interested at all. My main concern has always been, my security, my taking care of myself. And at this point, I've seen on these like online tarot readings, and I don't know if they're talking about me or they could be talking about someone else. You know what I mean? But if this was these particular readings did have anything to do with me, there's talk about my ex-husband or whatever coming back towards me, I will never trust these people, ever. You know what I mean? Like if he was to knock on my door, he could just sit outside because I would never open the door. If I saw him in the store, I would go down the other aisle and get out the store. I remember seeing him one time at I think it was a 7-Eleven. I think it was a 7-Eleven. I was on my way back to the bank, going back to work, and I was coming back from the bank. No, I was actually coming back from picking up like some what do you call it? Computer printer ink or whatever. And I was going down White Lane, and I went into a 7-Eleven, and then I think I saw him, and I remember like moving out the way. I didn't want to talk to the guy, and I don't want to talk to him now. You know what I mean? There are certain things that people don't understand. Like once a person does something to you, right? You leave that person. And I know I think there's some people they're afraid to make those decisions, but I would rather I would rather bend my elbow in the other direction to ever have anything to do with these people. Period. You know what I mean? At this point in my life, some people are thinking, well, marriage. I don't know anyone. I have not been interested in the whole idea of marriage. It doesn't even cross my mind. Seriously, it doesn't. I don't think about it at all. that's never like the thing that crosses my mind to even discuss that, you know. Maybe people think, well, you know, you should do that for your security, blah, 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 blah. But I would never want to be linked to someone for that reason, because here we go with abuse all over again. It's a cycle of abuse, you know. And a lot of people jumped on my train. I had my ex-family members thinking that they had the right to tell me what to do, trying to force me into some sort of relationship with my son's father. And then we had, I don't know whose side they were on really, because it doesn't make any sense to me. It just got to the point where it just stopped making any sense. I don't know if they were like on Bruce's side or they were on Joel's side or what. I just know that they felt like they had some sort of connection. Like I was supposed to be in some sort of connection with Bruce, you know, I don't know. But people tend to interject their opinions and their ideas, and they do so in a very forceful way. And I, you know that under the guidelines of the law, that's a form of abuse. That is abuse. You know what I mean? And, you know, when it comes to my blood relations, I don't want anything to do with them. I am literally a person who walked away from everyone that I knew. Everyone. Because I looked at these people and I saw what their intentions were, and everything about them just screams abuse, you know, and it went on for many, 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 many years. So, you know, some people would say, well, you know, go ahead and forgive them. No, you don't forgive somebody, because everything that they did shows that their intention was to literally destroy me and walk all over me. And the reason why I know this is because for the period of time that it took, you know, and it went on for a very long time. And when I started talking about legal action, and they realized, yeah, you can take legal action over this, then it started to subside, you know what I mean? But they wanted to, you know, enforce their shit into the very end. So these people are not really repentant. And it's not that I want to continually bring it up, but I wanted to clear this up, you know, for my new subscribers and let people know what's going on with my life. And, you know, I just keep plugging along. I just keep plugging along. I keep, you know, I'm grateful for every day that I live. You know what I mean? And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. You know what I mean? I know that I find these people repulsive. And what I mean by repulsive, I'm talking about the whole group, the entire group. And this group, I don't know, for some reason I see it sectioned off in different groups. Like, I think that there was the girl that I used to know in high school, and I think there's a guy from high school, and I call these people the Facebook clique, okay? So there you have these people. Then we have my ex family that I disowned. Then we have Joel and his wife, this group. And then I think maybe, I don't know where Bruce is. He might be with my ex family and somewhere in that whatever. All of these people, every single last person that I knew, I want nothing to do with. Nor will I ever trust them, and nor will I ever have trust for them, because they have shown themselves to be what they are. And, you know, when it gets to group mentality, it is a very dangerous thing, you know, because it feeds on, their anger feeds, and it escalates, and it becomes morbid, very morbid. Like, these people are very twisted people. So anyway, that's pretty much all I really wanted to say. I don't want any reconciliations with these people. I am not interested in seeing my ex-husband. Like I said, if I see him, I will slam the door. I wouldn't even open the door. I would just let him sit outside, knock on the door. I don't think he really knows where I live, and if he does know where I live, he's not welcome here. You know, if I see him, anyone that I knew from, and I'm talking about the guy who, anybody that I used to know, like that could be the accountant who knew what was going on, and he sat there and allowed it to happen, and he was a part of it, and all these other people. I don't want anything to do with you. You come near me, I will, like, you know, confront you or whatever. It wouldn't be very pleasant. So I think these people know to get the fuck away from me, that I'm not playing around, you know. And I think a lot of people are maybe like, I can't believe that you could do that. That's very bold of you. That's whatever. But, you know, a dog should never return to its own vomit, but you get some people who do. They'll return to that shit. And I will tell you that situation would never change. They would never respect you. They would never treat you well. And, you know, I am not interested in being anything like these people. I have zero respect for them, you know. And some people get sentimental, like, well, you know, you think about these times that you used to have. But when you think about the times, the positive times that you used to have, you have to think these people are not only evil, they're very deceitful and they're very clever from hiding it. Like, all the good times that you had with these people, they were faking it the entire time. That's what you have to remember. So for people who go through similar situations, you know, you need to start thinking back, you know, like, yeah, you might have had good times, but they were just being good actors. They were pretending the entire time. There was no sincerity in it. So my thing is in life is that you have to stand up for yourself, especially when you're dealing with something like um, gang stalking or whatever. Just pay attention to what's going on around you. Take your notes, keep your evidence, do what you got to do, and keep moving. You know what I mean? Life is short. Enjoy every day that you can. Um, of course, you know, prayer and meditation is something that I highly recommend. Um, and that's pretty much all you can do, you know. And anyway, so I do thank my new subscribers for like coming into my old, I call this my old channel, you know what I mean? And I appreciate your support. Take care.